Life's like that, isn't it? Only the other day I was walking in the West End and suddenly I was set upon by hordes of fans and admirers who wanted to touch my clothes. So I took sanctuary in a nearby cinema. Normally, of course, I don't go in, but that day I saw something that really moved me. I'd like to share this wonderful experience with you. It was the sound of music.
You're listening to
Hello and welcome to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM, the film and TV radio show where a handful of film enthusiasts shoot the breeze about all things film and television. I'm Marcus E. Acko, and on this 100th episode of Shoot the Breeze, the TV show that I cannot get enough of is called Rake on Netflix.
I am Laura Sampson, and on this 100th episode, the TV show that I have binged most recently is Noughts and Crosses. In fact, I have binged every episode twice.
We'll come
already.
back to it. We'll come to it in a second. Yep. Okay.
Hello, I'm producer Dave, and the TV show that I'm now getting into on Netflix is, apart from Raising Dion, just getting into The Protector, which is a Turkish TV show, supernatural TV show. Okay,
we'll come back to that 1 second. With us in the studio as well, the director of the London Independent Film Festival. Please tell us your name and whatever TV shows, what TV show you've had the opportunity of being able to not tear yourself away from recently.
Hi, I'm the director of the London Independent Film Festival. My name's Natasha Marburger, and thank you for having me today.
Not a problem.
So it's very exciting that this is the 100th episode of the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll talk about that later on. But
okay,
yeah, sorry.
Cool. So because the London Independent Film Festival starts on Friday, I haven't had a lot of time to watch TV at the moment. But I do love shows like The Sinner.
On Netflix.
I binged that, the first series and the second series.
Yeah. I think, is there a third one? I think there's a third. I may be wrong.
I hope there's a third one.
It is. I've finished the first season or series. I've started watching the second one, but that was a while ago, and I will come back to it. Bill Pullman, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic show. It starts off like standard fare, but then just the twists just keep coming, because I didn't want to read anything about it just so as not to have it spoiled for me, but the twists just kept on coming and coming. And the second season I was like, no, I need to prepare myself for it. So
yeah.
Have you finished both seasons yet?
I have finished both seasons. I like the way that it just unravels bit by bit, so it just keeps you have to binge it because you can't tear yourself away. I agree
100%. And it's I have, those of you who've been listening to this show, you're going to be sick and tired of me saying this, but I've got lists. I've got two particular lists, right? One list where people recommend shows and films for me to watch. On that list is stuff like Never-Ending Story and This Is Us and so on and so forth, because there have been various people who've come in and recommended that, and I say, oh, I'm putting it on that list. If I say it's the Never-Ending Story list, it's one where I won't see it anytime soon. Laura, our co-host, she loves Neverending Story, but we'll come back to that in a second. My other list is the one that I really want to see, and Sinner is on that list. It's on that second list.
Yeah.
Laura, I just want to jump to you. Noughts and Crosses. Where can we get Noughts and Crosses?
It's on iPlayer. All the episodes are. I was a bit confused last week when it came out. I thought it was just one episode, but all the episodes are available, and
the BBC
I watched them
now.
within 24 hours, and then maybe 48 hours later I watched them all again.
Yeah, the BBC is doing that now. When they some of the programs they actually put week by week, and some of them they just put that entire lot on
binge-worthy
online,
TV. Yeah.
Well, what they're doing is I think that what they're doing is trying to ape, in some respects, Netflix, where they put all the series on Netflix at the same time, but not all the time, if you see what I mean. Some of them they hold back.
Yeah, because Noughts and Crosses came across my radar, and it's there. It's on my Sky Planner. I'm sitting there, and same thing as you. I thought it was BBC. I thought it was going to be periodic watching until I got it on there. I missed the first episode, so I went in to go and get download it, and it did the series link thing, and already started downloading episode 2, episode 3, etc. But I'm currently stuck on Rake at the moment, which is It's a comedy drama. It's on Netflix, 5 seasons of it. It stars Richard Roxburgh. He's Australian. It's an Australian show. It's about this sort of caddish lawyer who basically he's not a public defender, but he defends criminals and low lives and whatnot. And it's really funny, really touching, and I'm stuck on it. 8 episodes each season. I watched season 1 and 2 about 3 or 4 years ago, thought that they weren't making any more, and then they just dropped the other 3 seasons on there, and I'm like, I'm stuck. I'm literally addicted to this. It's literally, it is my version of heroin, okay? And I'm not trying to use that lightly. I can't find myself pulling myself away from the show. I want to wait till I finish everything, and then I have to then sit it away and detox from TV and whatnot, because I'm really, really addicted to this particular show, which is the reason why I wanted to bring it up on our 100th episode. So congratulations, guys. We've been doing this for 100 episodes. They've let us sit down and do this show for 100 episodes, and I am eternally grateful to Resonance FM and Laura, to you as well, because if it wasn't for you, if I hadn't met you, this show wouldn't exist. So those of you who don't like this show and listen to it and say, please just get them off the mic, blame Laura and Resonance FM. For those of you who love this show, yes, thank those two.
I think we also need to blame Thai Airways, which is how we met, in front of the little TVs in the middle of the middle bank of seats.
Yes.
On a night flight to Thailand, for me to Taiwan via Thailand. Mm-hmm. But that's another story.
That's another story. Another day when it's just the 3 of us sitting in, we can reminisce and we talk about it. But we've got plenty of things to talk about today. We're going to do our top 5 favorites. Now that we have Natasha Marburger in the studio with us, she's the director of the London Independent Film Festival, also known as LIFF. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. It's Friday, so we're going to be talking about top 5 favorite women in film. So in celebration of International Women's Day that just went past, we're going to be doing our top 5 favorites on women in film and TV, whatever influential women, directors, actresses, screenwriters, anyone who is a woman who has made an impact in film and TV that is your favorite. We're going to go around the room and talk about them. But for today, let's do our
sorry, you don't want to hear about my TV film?
Do you want to talk about yours?
No.
You could if you want to.
No,
you sure?
You seem to have.
I sort of skipped past. It's because we've got Natasha Marburger in the studio with us. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
Oh, you sound so downcast now.
Yeah, I am.
It's because we've got the director of the London Independent Film Festival in the studio,
fine.
which
That's
is
fine. I don't mind being forgotten.
You know what, producer Dave.
I don't mind being forgotten. It's okay. Not a problem.
I apologize. Do you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? Just before we jump into our next segment.
Let's just jump
you sure?
into the next
You want to jump
segment.
into it?
Just
Are you
jump
sure?
into the next segment.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll jump into the next segment, and then we're going to... Natasha, do me a favor. Just remind me so we can come back to the...
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Anyway, our next segment is Film and TV News. Okay, so we're going to combine our our film and TV news with the segment Spotlight, because, as I've mentioned, you're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM, and with us in the studio is the director of the London Independent Film Festival, Natasha Marburger. So we're going to be asking you tons of questions about this festival because it is about to kick off. It's going on for a number of days.
Yes.
Please tell us, what is the London Independent Film Festival?
So the London Independent Film Festival is London's premier event for micro budget and no budget films, and it's mostly films made by first and second time directors, and the idea is to kickstart people's careers in film and give people a platform for their films that otherwise might not get shown elsewhere.
So the qualification, do you have to be first or second time director?
No, it's not a requirement. It's not. We do take other films as well, but we tend to take mostly those kinds of films.
Okay, so how many films do you have this year? Or how many films are going to be shown this year?
So this year we have a record number of films, and the total is 78 over the we run over 10 days, but we don't screen things every day in those 10 days. The dates that we do run are the Friday the 13th, which is our opening night, and we have events and films on the 14th, 15th, 17th, 20th, 21st and 22nd, which is our closing night.
Well, you got all that
celebration.
That was basically rattled off your head. You didn't have a list or notes or anything.
No.
I have tons of notes scattered everywhere, and I barely read them, and I just talk nonsense. But how long have you been direct? How long have you been? Has the London Independent Film Festival been going for?
So it's been running for 17 years.
Wow.
So this will be the 17th year for the London Independent Film Festival itself, and I've been on board for 3 years now.
So how did you come aboard? Did you come aboard because you wanted to work in festivals, or are you a filmmaker yourself?
I'm a filmmaker. I'm a producer, and I've been producing films for the last 10 years. So I know people in the industry. I've made things, and my first feature film was also shown at LIFF. And I suppose I just kept in touch with people, and then the guy who founded it, Eric Schultz, he founded the festival 17 years ago. He asked me if I wanted to be on board, and I love working with the festival. I love working with the filmmakers, and I believe in creating opportunities for other people. So we have the festival, which is great in and of itself. We show lots of films, but we also have partnerships with other media organisations such as UK Film Channel, which offers for filmmakers who want it, they don't have to, but all the films that are selected at this year's LIFF, they all have the opportunity to be distributed on UK Film Channel.
Wow, that's very good. London Independent Film Festival came to my attention last year when the Shakespeare Sisters, with their debut, Soundtrack to 16.
So we try to open the festival, obviously, with a film that's going to make a splash, but particularly for the last 2 years, I've been trying to always open the festival with a women-led film. Obviously, that's dependent on receiving enough content to fit that model.
Of course.
But we've done that for the last 2 years running, and we opened last year with the Shakespeare Sisters. Their film was Soundtrack to 16, which is doing very well and is about to start a theatrical run.
Yes, we had last week's episode was the Shakespeare Sisters. Again, they're friends of the show. They've come on a number of times to talk about that particular project and some other projects they're working on.
Yeah, their theatrical run is going to start on the 14th.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So this year we're opening with a film by Jenna Suru.
Another friend of the show.
Yeah, she was on here as well. So she's opening the festival. Again, it's a women-led film. It's called The Golden Age, and she acts in it. L'Âge d'Or. And she directed and produced it as well, and she's such a driving force. She just we speak every day. We do all sorts of things together.
Yeah, and I want to extend thanks to Jenna Suru as well, because it was through Jenna that we were able to get you onto the show to talk about the project, to talk about the festival. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm producer Dave.
With us in the studio, we have the director of the London Independent Film Festival, Natasha Marburger. So the festival starts on the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Yes.
I'd say about 7:30-ish.
Yes, so the opening night party starts at 7:30 at Genesis Cinema on Friday.
It's the reason why we're not currently in the studio doing this live broadcast, because obviously some of us were able to get. I'm assuming that some of us are able to get guest list passes to this. Is this the case? Okay, good. So Natasha is nodding. She's like, yes, we are. That's good. Okay. I almost shot myself in the foot there. It's like, well, no one's actually asked us for any guest lists. So that's why we are currently at the event. And so that's why we're talking to you. So this is going to be a pre-record, so we can get you into the studio and talk about the show, the festival. So it starts on the 13th and it runs to when?
The 22nd.
Where
of March.
Can people get tickets to actually come and see films at the festival?
So the festival runs at Genesis Cinema in Mile End. It's a really big independent cinema, and they're excellent at helping us run the festival. And they have ticketed everything on their website, which is genesiscinema.co.uk. Other than that, we also have the full schedule of events, which includes all the networking and all the social things and all the parties, which are all free, which is all on www.liff.org.uk.
liff.org.uk.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to be putting this on our social media platforms as well, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc.
Okay,
does LIFF
excellent.
have a social media handle either
Yes.
on any of those platforms?
So on all everywhere, the Instagram and Twitter as well, it's at London IFF. And
okay.
we also have a Facebook page. I share things everywhere. So
Perfect. We can link to on when this episode goes out as well, because the episode goes out not only on Resonance FM but also goes out on a podcast on the following Monday. So we're going to be posting out the details as well, and promoting it as much as we can, because there are a number of films that are popping up in this year's festival. The premiere of L'Âge d'Or, as an example,
Yeah.
which we are excited to see, which is one of the reasons why I'm very much looking forward to coming in this week or this Friday and seeing it. Laura, you had a question that you want to ask Natasha.
Well, it's about recommendations, really. I sometimes feel a bit intimidated by going to film festivals where I've never heard of any of the films, especially when I'm going to see short films. Somehow short films seem even more intimidating than feature films to me, because I'm used to going to the cinema and seeing a feature film that's probably the complete opposite of micro budget. So for someone like me who feels a little bit like, what am I supposed to do? How would you recommend approaching the programme? I mean, I have a sense of adventure, but I still need help to choose what to see.
yeah, well, I think there are many things that play a part. I think first of all, it depends what you're into. So we like to think we have something for everyone. We have a horror block, and we have a horror feature film as well, which this year is Reborn by Julian Richards, and it screens at 9 p.m. on Sunday the 15th of March. So that is an excellent film. You should definitely come and see that if you're into horror.
Okay.
And then there's also a documentary which is called Soul Journey, and that screens on Tuesday the 17th at 9 p.m. So if you're really into soul music and documentary films, then that's one for you. And then, it depends entirely what you're into. So another coming of age film that we have is on Saturday the 21st of March at 9 p.m. and it's called Philophobia, and it has sold out, so it's massively popular. We've had to move it to a larger screen, so there are still tickets available, but you don't want to miss that one.
How do you spell the name of that?
Philophobia, so PHILO.
PHOBIA.
Oh,
yeah.
philophobia. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's philophobia. I think it's philophobia. I'm not sure.
Okay. Either way, it's philophobia.
Yeah, it's an excellent film. And then in terms of getting the most out of being at a festival, I think things like attending the opening night party or other, you know, if you come with friends or attend any of the social events, then it's a really good opportunity to be able to meet people, and then people will say, come to my film, and then you'll know what to go to. So I think that's a really great way. And particularly at LIFF as well, we're a festival for the people. Come down, hang out, have a drink. It's very informal. It's a really nice environment. So anyone who has a sense of, oh, maybe I shouldn't go, don't think that way. You should absolutely, definitely come.
That's a great way to pull people into seeing films at the festival. So, Laura, did I cut you off? Did you have a question you wanted to ask?
I was about to say almost exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Also, to thank you for picking out my two favourite genres as the first two things you recommended. I'll be definitely getting down to one of those. But also, it's really good to know that the programme is kind of separated by genre, so it's fairly easy to find something that's in the general, in the general scheme of things that you like. But also, it's good to know that people are there to chat to as well. That's quite unusual for a film festival to have a majority of the filmmakers actually there to speak to.
We do. We'll have a lot of our filmmakers will be there during the day, and then we have lots of other events going on as well. So we have workshops and masterclasses with, so for example, Twickenham Studios, they run a grading masterclass. Then we have a business panel with lots of people who work in the business side of film, and we have a masterclass with a screenwriter, and we have lots of different things going on. So there's so many opportunities to come down and get some information about the stuff that you're interested in, see the films that you want to see, and also to meet the filmmakers and just come to the bar and have a drink with me.
Fantastic. I'm there.
You mentioned that you like to structure, especially the premiere film being sort of women-oriented or led by women filmmakers.
Yes.
Can you give us a sort of rough estimate as to the proportion of female filmmakers in the festival this year compared to previous years?
I think so we have more films that are more feature films that are made by women this year. So our closing night film is called Cat and the Band, and it's by E.E. Hegarty.
Okay.
So we do try to promote that as much as possible. And although I don't have a panel this year about women in film, because we were trying to work something out with women in film and TV, but they weren't able to host it in the end, so we had to cancel that event. But generally last year we had like a panel of women filmmakers to discuss women in film, so we do see what we can do and promote that as much as we can.
Okay, is there any sort of record as to the diversity split within submissions for this particular year? Yes,
so there's also more LGBT films this year than there were previously, particularly in terms of features. We have 2 feature films. One is called Palindrome, which runs on Saturday the 14th of March at 9 p.m, and it's directed by Marcus Flemings. And then we also have on Friday the 20th at 9 p.m. A film called Your Eyes on Me.
And that's on the 20th, you said?
Yes.
Your Eyes on Me. Oh,
at 9 p.m.
What about ethnic diversity?
We have as much as we can put in, but obviously it depends what we get submitted. We're a small festival, so we don't get as much as we would like from different groups of people. But we want to have more and more. So like I said, I try to create partnerships. I've spoken at length with different organisations, particularly ones that deal with filmmakers with disabilities and things like that. So in the future, we hope to have more people submitting films from different groups of different minorities.
Okay, excellent. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm producer Dave.
With us in the studio is the director of London Independent Film Festival, Natasha Marburger, taking tons of questions from everywhere about the film festival, which is starting on the 13th of March, Friday the 13th of March, and is going to till the 22nd, you said?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, starting today and going, well, not today, but today when this goes out.
You're listening to this on the Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very, very quick question. It's very business related. Are all the films going to be shown at the Genesis, or are they going to be split amongst?
No, this year they're all at the Genesis. In different years, we've had things at different venues, but because Genesis is such a brilliant cinema, it helps us to be able to create a really great vibe in one place.
Okay, thank you.
One last question I wanted to ask before we move on to our next segment is what sort of advice would you give to people to filmmakers who are looking to submit their first feature, their first short, their first project to a film festival? What sort of advice would you give them that you've noticed reviewing through various submissions that people have made mistakes doing this and sort of disqualifies them from the process? What would you advise people to look out for so that they make sure they don't make that mistake when making their own submissions?
So, I mean, that's quite a vast question, really. But I think the main things to look out for are choose festivals that you think want the type of film that you have. So I would go through all the films that have been screened in the last couple of years and just make sure that you fit with the kind of content that they're looking for. I mean, stupid example, but if you have a horror film, probably going to be a waste of money to send it to a comedy festival.
Sure, of course.
But it's more general than that as well, obviously. If festivals will have a certain type of film that they like to show, so I would pick the festivals that you think are right, and also I would pick ones that you have some kind of connection to. Maybe it's in your hometown, or maybe you can get there because it's not very far away, or maybe you know the people or something like that, because half of what you can get out of festivals is actually being able to attend and meet the people who are there, other filmmakers, the people who are involved in the festival. And I think if you pick festivals that are really far away, where you can't go and you don't know anyone, then it's probably not the same kind of experience.
Of course, unless you can afford to then do that trip and go all the way. You can't book Toronto Film Festival when you live over here, unless you're prepared to go and spend that time and effort, spending time over there to attend the festival.
The film industry is all about building relationships with people over a longer time period. It's not a short-term thing. It's meeting people and cultivating relationships, and then maybe you'll work together down the line and be able to help each other out, and that's kind of the idea. So it's really more than just sending your film somewhere on the other side of the world.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Natasha. Please stay with us because we're going to be talking top 5 favorite women in film and directors, filmmakers. You can even include some of the women that are going to be appearing. I'm not trying to lead you in a particular direction, but you could mention some of the women that are going to be in the festival this year.
Yes, I think I probably will.
Excellent. That's good. I'll probably add a couple of my list as well, just because I can. But we'll talk about that in just a second. Before we jump into that top 5 favorites, I'd like to jump to producer Dave to tell us about the TV show that he was watching, that he's currently hooked on. And if you want to share that with us.
Oh, you've decided to come back to me.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, The Protector.
Yes.
It's on Netflix. It's kind of a sort of like a supernatural tale of a guy who is deemed a protector from a long line of protectors for the city, basically, and he has to find a ring of power so that he is able to protect the city from his nemesis.
This is on Netflix?
This is on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's all in Turkish. So you basically, I'm going slowly through it because it's all in Turkish and I have to read the text, the subtitles. And I'm not as quick as reading the subtitles as I used to be. So I'm watching it, reading it, and then I'm going back again to see the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it presents Turkey in a really good light because you see it from above, around the sides, the little side streets. And I think that's what's hooked me most, because I've been to Istanbul once. Really like the city. It's really nice. It was nice and free and easy at the time when I went. And what I'm seeing is a remembrance of what I saw, but also from different angles, because I'm getting great aerial shots. I'm getting into places where I wasn't able to get into, some secret.
How many episodes are you in?
I'm on the second episode now.
Okay.
Because I'm, like I said, taking it slowly.
Of course.
It's actually, I only found it a couple of weeks ago, and it's already on season 3.
Okay.
Because
I'm going to ask you again when you're 5 episodes in to tell me what you think. If you're still hooked, if you still like it, tell me, and then I'll put that on the good list so I can jump in and check it out.
Okay.
Because I love varying my tastes and my the films TV shows that I've watched. I want to expand, not just stick with American and English and whatnot. Even that 1-inch barrier of subtitles doesn't scare me.
It doesn't scare me at all. But it's just that like I said, I'm not reading it as fast as the action, if you see what I mean. So sometimes I read it and then I'm back up to the screen and I've missed something, so I have to go back and watch that as well.
Sure.
So it is. I could watch the dubbed version. I think they've dubbed it as well, but it just doesn't feel the same.
It will lose something.
It just loses. It's all. At the moment, their dubbing is so well, you can actually see the mouths moving and hear the word and see the words coming out.
But you still lose something.
But you've just lost something because the voice is just completely different. Anyway.
You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
And we're going to jump into top 5 favorites. So just before we go through our top 5, we have a message from our favorite critic of the show, Greg Stokes. He's a fan of the show. He listens in, he catches in every few episodes going forward, and he pulled up. He's the one, David, who talked about the top 5 favorites. You can't really have top 5 favorites because if it's and I'm butchering his argument, and I'm doing it on purpose because I want to drag him into the studio so he can make the argument himself. And his argument about top 5 favorites is you can't really have a top 5 favorites and it'd be your favorites, because obviously if it's your favorite, it's one, it's not 5 of your favorites, it's just 5 things that you like. Anyway, I butchered his take on that. He'll come. I'm going to make sure he comes in here and he makes that explanation. But however, he did make a point, and this is about a recent top 5 favorite, which was characters played by multiple actors. And my number 1 was Shaft. And he said, but, right? So the category is top 5 favorite characters played by multiple actors. I said Shaft because there's the Richard Roundtree version, there's the Samuel L. Jackson version, and there's the other version that's on Netflix at the moment. But then they are actually different Shafts, right? So you have John Shaft, who's the Richard Roundtree character. You also have John Shaft, who is the Samuel L. Jackson, who plays by Samuel L. Jackson. However, that is the Richard Roundtree character's nephew, right? And then the one in Netflix is Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft's son. So technically they are 3 different characters.
He found a plot hole.
He did. And this is the thing, as soon as he said that, the computation happened in my head and I thought, you got me. Fine. So point to him.
Hang on, he deserves a booby prize.
He deserves a booby prize. His booby prize is for him to come into the studio and explain why he thinks top 5 favorites as a category
That's not
doesn't
a
work.
prize.
That's a prize. That's a prize.
Yeah, because
Otherwise,
you're going to be sitting opposite and I'm just cursing him.
But yes, that's his
No,
prerogative.
in actual fact, no, get him in. That saved me being cursed for
Absolutely,
for a
yeah.
whole
Deflect
episode.
from you.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I haven't cursed you not even once today. But
Yeah,
I
not today.
did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right, okay.
Anyway, so today's top 5 favorite is in honor of International Women's Day, which happened recently. We're doing women in film. So top 5 favorite women in film, and it could be directors, writers, actors, actresses, producers, whomever you feel is a woman and has had for you is your favorite woman who has impacted film and TV. We're going to start with our guest, the director of London Independent Film Festival, Natasha Marburger, who's going to tell us her number 5 and 4. Then Laura will say 5 and 4. Then David will say his 5 and 4. I'll say my 5 and 4. And then we'll come back to Natasha, and we'll go all the way around until we get to number 1. So Natasha, who's your number 5 and 4?
Okay, so my favorite is
Your
like
number
you said.
5 favorite. This is locked in, which basically means your number 4 is more you have more favorability to that person over the number 5. It's locked in. It's official. We put it on a plaque and everything.
Okay, but what I wanted to say is they're slightly left field, maybe.
Sure, okay.
I don't know. So I have different reasons for picking these different women because they are brilliant in what they do, but they also give back to other people around the world. So my number 5 is Sandra Bullock.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's because I like her as an actress, but not only that, she has donated a lot of money to different causes around the world, including donating $1 million to Red Cross after 9/11 and also donating another $1 million to the fund in Indonesia after the tsunami in 2004.
Okay, that's good. That's a good pick. Sandra Bullock. Who's your number 4?
Number 4 would be Anjelina Jolie.
Okay.
For the same reason. She supports so many causes around the world. She's always helping in different countries in Africa and also in India and other different places around the world. And she's donated a lot of money as well. And she works for UNICEF and she really kind of helps different charitable causes.
All right, that's a good pick. Sandra Bullock and Angelina Jolie. Laura, who's your number 5 and 4?
My number 5 is someone we've had on the show who taught me more than anyone else about the Tamil and Sri Lankan film industries, Ashanti Omkar. She is mostly a radio presenter for BBC Asian Network, but she's also a fount of wisdom for non-Bollywood Indian films, well, Bollywood as well, but she has taught me loads and loads and loads, and I've watched lots of films on her recommendation, and all her recommendations have been brilliant.
Excellent. So that's Ashanti Omkar. And then your number 4?
My number 4 is a multidisciplinary artist based in London called Amy Cutler. She's a geographer and a sound artist and a filmmaker, and she just, whatever she comes up with, I follow her on all social media and everything, whatever she comes up with is somehow something I would never have thought of, but now think is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant idea. She made a film from the point of view of a butterfly a couple of years ago. She curated a mini festival up at the Close Up Film Centre in Brick Lane, and she also, importantly, loves The Never-Ending Story.
Does she?
When I met her, that was the first thing I asked her, and she was like, of course it's my favourite film.
Yes.
Or maybe she says that to all the girls.
Let's ask. Natasha, have you seen The Never-Ending Story?
Oh God, many, many years ago.
Okay.
I don't remember it very well.
Okay, fair enough. I have never seen Never-Ending Story, and it is on my list to see The Never-Ending Story.
At some point in the future.
Is at some point in the future. Okay, so Laura, your number 5 was Ashanti Omkar. Your number 4 was Amy Cutler. David, who's your number 5 and 4?
I think it's time we got Ashanti back, actually.
I know. I will reach out to Ashanti at some point, and we can get her back onto the show. We want to get her partner on board as well, because he's going to come and talk everything Marvel, and that would just be the two of us just having conversations about that.
Yes. Okay. My 5 and 4. A couple of directors. My first is Gurinder Chandra. She did films like Beckham, Baji on the Beach, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. You know,
The book of that is so good. So good.
One of the reasons I really like Bend It Like Beckham as the film, because it was one of the first film that I saw by her, and it actually produced 3 stars: Paminda Nagra, Keira Knightley, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. They all 3 of them were in that film. Unfortunately, I think Paminda should have been bigger than she actually is, but you know, I thought she was excellent in that film. But I thought the whole thing was done so well, and the closing sequence with the credits, where some of the bloopers and the chants and the singing and all that, I thought it was inspired. I thought that was quite funny as well. So that's Gurinder Chandra.
Yeah, there's one film that she did as well, which was I always forget the name, but it's about this mother-in-law that keeps killing various men that are trying to court her daughter, because she's trying to get the right man to court the daughter. But I've forgotten the name of the film. I'll mention it later on when it finally hits me. No. So that's your number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is the director of Charlotte Grey, which is Gillian Armstrong.
Gillian Armstrong.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I just really liked the film, and I thought it was a really, really good film, and that's the reason why she dropped into my picks.
Okay, so number 5. So that's your number 4. My number 5 is another guest who's been on the show before that hasn't come back in a long time, and we need to drag her back, but she's very, very busy doing the Lord's work. Iki El Amriti. She's an agent with Identity Agency Group. They're one of the leading actors agencies for ethnic minority characters or actors in the country and practically in the world. Actually, they're very good. She goes around as well. She does various talks at festivals as well, so you may want to put you in touch with her. She was on Channel 4 at one point. They were talking about diversity on TV, and she's highly intelligent, yet she's quite happy to come and chill with us and slum it with us and talk Marvel films and whatnot, and it's great. So Iki El-Amriti is my number 5 on the list. My number 4 is Ama Asante. She's an amazing director. She did the film that she saw, which was United Kingdom, is one of my favorites. It's like in my favorites films, because I'd heard good things about it. It stars Daniel Ayelowo, and I can't remember the actress in it. And it touched me because I'd heard about it. I figured I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to watch it, and the storytelling and the way it went and the script writing, everything just touched me on a level that maybe it was my personal experience at that time, but it really hit me hard. And so she's like, whenever I think of female directors, writers, anyone in the industry, Ama Asante is always the first person that always comes up in my head. But I've put her as number 4 on my list. For other reasons. Anyway, you're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
With us in the studio, who's about to tell us her number 3 and number 2 favorite woman in film and TV, is Natasha Marburger, the director of the London Independent Film Festival. So who's your number 3 and 2?
My number 3 is Meryl Streep.
Ooh, okay.
Again, for the same reasons as my number 5 and 4, because she does a lot of work for charity as well and has donated 2.1 million together with her husband.
Yeah.
And that has gone to Oxfam and other places. So I'm very big on people being able to do everything that they can do. And because a lot of these amazing actresses have a platform and the means to help other people, I think it's really important when they're able to do that, and they do that.
Excellent. So that's number 3, Meryl Streep.
So
who's your number 2?
Number 3. My number 2 is officially we call her my festival assistant, but she's amazing. Her name is Simona Sakala-Skate. She does everything, and I couldn't do the festival without her.
Okay, so what does she do in the festival?
So specifically, she creates graphic images and visuals, and she also does a lot of social media, and she also helps me to order all the merchandise that we need, such as wristbands and the step and repeat board for our sponsors and just things like that. But she just does everything.
This is Simona Sakala State.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get the correct spelling from you later on. But Simona, you got a good big shout out.
She's amazing, honestly.
Yeah. Ask Natasha for a raise next time. Excellent. Okay, so thank you, Natasha. Laura, what's your number 3 and 2?
This is getting harder and harder, isn't it? My number 3 is Chloe Zhao, purely because I love the film The Rider so much. I really quite like the Western film genre, and how directors who don't necessarily always make that genre of film, seeing their take on it and kind of the mixture between the landscape and the inner life of the characters. And I just thought she just did a really beautiful, sensitive, heartbreaking film about men, but not a romance. The romance wasn't between men and women. There was just loads more going on than that, and I just thought it was really, really clever. She's only about 35, and that's not even her first film, and now I'm a complete fan.
Okay.
So Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao, that's your number 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the director of another London another London film festival, the Underwire Film Festival, Anna Bogutskaya. In a very, very early episode of this show, I got the chance to interview her, and she was, just like you have been, Natasha, really open and happy to, sort of guide me into the world of short films, which I'm still a little bit kind of nervous about it, but I was completely terrified at the time. I was really mainstream only type of a girl, but it was her who started to change me about that. That
was our first out of the studio interview.
Yes, it was.
Yes. With 100 episodes, and we're just doing massive flashbacks and recalls to different things. Excellent. So that's your number 3 was Chloe Zhao. Number 2 was Anna Bogutskaya.
Bogutskaya, yeah.
Perfect. David, who's your number 3 and 2?
My number 3 is director of several TV episodes, various popular TV series such as Homicide: Life on the Street, Oz, The L Word, 6 Feet Under, which I really, really like, and the film American Psycho. That's Mary Harron. I think American Psycho is a brilliant book and film. Anyway, I really, 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 really enjoyed 6 Feet Under. I thought it was such a good series. And there's, Oz as well, various episodes of those ones. That's the reason why she's come through. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Who's your number 2?
Director. Number 2, this is Vicky Jensen. Now, Vicky Jensen is a director. She directed Shrek, but she's also an animator as well. And her involvement was with things like Mighty Mouse, Ren and Stimpy, various kids shows like that, and adult shows as well, Marvel and what have you. Mostly nowadays she's on the storyboard writing side. Yeah. So she's got the big sort of like Shrek, which was a massive hit, and she took it on after the previous director for that project left, and turned it into what it is as we see now. So yeah, massive props to her, because she's a director, animator, storyboard artist. Brilliant.
That's good. That's Vicky Jensen.
Vicky Jensen, yeah.
Okay. My number 3 is Issa Rae. She's an actress, a writer, and she became famous, or became well known for a project that she did called Insecure, which is an American TV show about 4 black women pretty much trying to make it in the various industries that they're in, and it's not just they're 4 professional black women. One of the reasons why I really like it is because it is, while it's down to earth and it's funny and it's touching, I like it from a technical point of view as well, and it's maybe not necessarily it's not her own impact on it, but she worked as a producer on it to ensure that the way they capture black people or the black skin in film. She worked with a cinematographer whose name I am missing, but it's also a female cinematographer, and both of them worked together to be able to make black skin look beautiful on cinema. And so that's why she's my number 3. My number 2, I combined actresses. I put Regina King because she has done tons of stuff that just every time she's in there, you know that it's dependable stuff. I've been seeing her since she was in Thin Line Between Love and Hate. She was in Enemy of the State. Most recently, she was in the TV show Watchmen, and she won an Oscar recently for If Beale Street Could Talk. She's a fantastic actress. She's anyway, anytime you see her or you hear her voice, she also voices the 2 main characters in the cartoon The Boondocks. She's amazing. Anyway, the second person that I want to put, I didn't tell you this, Natasha. You could double up. I know I didn't mention that, but I thought I did. But anyway, I'm doubling up right now. So I have Regina King and Tina Fey. I think Tina Fey is one of the funniest women, female. No, forget it. She's one of the funniest people on TV. I don't even have to say funniest woman on TV because that's sort of categorizing her in a smaller group. She is one of the funniest TV writers that I know or I've heard of. Her work is fantastic. She's one of the reasons why we have one of the segments for the 30 Rock segment that plays. That's her show, and everything that she's done after that is genius. It's great. Anyway, that's my number 2. We are listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
And we're going to go around the room one last time, starting with our guest, Natasha Marburger, telling us her number 1 favourite woman in film.
Okay, so before I do that,
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about this doubling up?
Okay. So I cheat. That's the only way I can put it, because there are so many options that you can pick, and we say top 5. I tend, it's not just me, everybody else does it, where we tend to say, right, my number 3 is 3 different people, and you put 3 different people in there, which is why for my number 2 I had Regina King and Tina Fey. So you can feel free to put more than one person as your number 1.
Okay. In that case, I will do exactly that.
It's like my 12 people are these.
Yeah. No, I haven't got that many, but I have got a few.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all people that I know personally who are very driven in the film industry in London particularly, but also around the world. So first of all, I'm going to give a shout out to Jenna Suru, because she just is amazing. The amount of promotion that she does, particularly for her film L'Âge d'Or, which is opening LIFF on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It's our opening night film this year. And it's an excellent period drama. You should come along and see it. Tickets are on the Genesis website. But she is just... I speak to her most days. We talk about promotion. She tags me in everything on different platforms multiple times a day. She is just an unstoppable force.
We all concur, because she is at the moment the most. I think she has either her or she's gonna kill me now. I've said it. Now I'm saying this. She ties with what we refer to as the hardest working head of production in the business, who is also woman in business, but we'll talk about that later. But yes, she ties for the most appearances on this show, and we welcome her back anytime she wants to come back. She can come back onto the show. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
you said
amazing.
Jenna Suru is number 1. Who else?
So I also will give a shout out to a friend of mine, Helen Oakley, who she just does so many different things. She's an actor. She's also a director. She writes. She does poetry. She's currently... Well, she was working in China, but with everything going on, she is now, I think, in Germany doing some comics. She just does everything, and she is in all parts of the creative industries.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Helen Oakley.
Helen Oakley.
And Gosh, my list is long now.
We'll add a third person and then that will be it.
Okay, a third person. So my third person is another friend of mine called Elida Pantoni. She is originally from Italy, but she is just so driven and so inspiring. She's an actress and she also runs the London Rolling Film Festival. And she is a guest of ours at LIFF this year. So she will be on a panel on Sunday the 15th of March at 3 p.m. about what makes a good short film for film festivals.
Okay, Sunday 3 p.m.
Sunday at 3 p.m.
Excellent. Okay, Laura, who's your number one?
Who are my three number ones?
Well, we all going around and giving three?
Well, I can go really, really fast through the two who didn't make it into my number one because I haven't met them.
Sure.
But coming in last week, actually, I knew she was a brilliant writer of books, but now I know she's a brilliant writer of TV, Mallory Blackman, and she's a brilliant all kinds of other things as well.
She did the Noughts and Crosses, right?
Yes, she wrote the books, and she is one of the main writers of the TV series as well. And also, because this year I have binged all of Call the Midwife, from episode 1 to the current episode, Heidi Thomas. Okay. And she either wrote or co-wrote, I think, every single episode over the entire 9 series. And every single series gives me, and of course like 10 million other people in the country, the feels. Every single episode completely like clockwork brilliance. But the person who has number one next to their name on my little notes here is Lucy Buglas from Lucy Goes to Hollywood, who's also come to visit us on the show very kindly a couple of times. She is a inexhaustible film blogger who will watch anything and give a considered, intelligent opinion about it. We first met her when she was about to go to the London Korean Film Festival, and she covered lots of things there. She also writes for Jump Cut Online, and she's just here, there and everywhere, just kind of spreading the love of film and TV around the country. So I really think she's going to go far. Yeah,
definitely check out her blog, Lucy Goes to Hollywood. It's very insightful on as many films as she's seen. She's definitely seen far more films than anyone I can think of, because you're right, she throws herself into it and she just gets what she whatever she comes to. It's a very honest opinion that she throws onto her blogs. Go check her out. So that's Lucy Buglas as your number one, as well as Mallory Blackman and Heidi Thomas.
Yes. Excellent.
David, who are your three number ones?
I've only got the one.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say the star of Laverne and Shirley, Penny Marshall, who's sadly deceased, but she's director and actress who starred in Laverne and Shirley, The Fonz, Saturday Night Live.
Did she direct Sleepless in Seattle, or am I mistaken with someone else?
Sleepless in Seattle.
Don't worry. Oh, sorry. This is your number one. Sorry.
She did Get Shorty, Hocus Pocus. I do remember that, Hocus Pocus. Yeah, very good actress and very good director.
Okay. Just before I jump to my number one, a couple of honorable mentions. You've already mentioned, Natasha, you mentioned one of them, Jenna Suru. She's my honorable mention, Jenna Suru, as well as another regular guest that we have on the show, the hardest working head of production in the business, Ariana Ryan. Those two definitely are in my list. But my number one is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She wrote...
Oh my gosh, obviously.
Yes, she's the writer behind and the creator behind Fleabag and Killing Eve. Those two shows are the pinnacle of British TV. So she's my main number one. Anyway, you've been listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. Natasha, I want to say thank you very much for coming onto the show and talking about the London Independent Film Festival.
Thank you very much for having me on your 100th show.
Yes, it's the 100th episode. Congratulations, everybody. And so we're just we will definitely post out about the festival to get people to come in, to come and watch. But until then, you've been listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
Saying thank you very much for listening.
And see you next week.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, we are on the guest list, right? Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just confirm it.